The Fantasy Skirmisher.
Hey everyone, this is Nevin and welcome back to the Fantasy Skirmisher. I received this a week ago and I'm just now getting it on the table to take a look at it. I just removed the shrink, but I have not opened the box yet. But I don't want to do just a straight unboxing because I'm sure there's a million of them already on YouTube. But one thing I am interested in is comparing the new edition to the fourth revised edition. Not only taking a look at the differences in the rules, but the components themselves. This is not meant to be an edition war or anything like that. It's just that, if you don't own the 5th edition already and you have the 4th edition, is this something you might want to purchase? Or do you want to keep the 4th edition? And, what are some of the changes that may draw you to one edition to the other? So for me, it's a no-brainer that I'm going to keep both of them, just as I'm going to keep my 3rd edition. But with that said, let's start taking a look with the box. And you can see that the box for 5th edition is smaller than the standard Fantasy Flight type game box that the 4th edition comes in. So with that said, let's open this up and take a look at what we got. All right, so we have the rule book. It feels pretty thick. It's funny because the 2nd and the 3rd edition especially has very few rules. And here's quite a few. But we'll take a closer look in a minute. And look at these tokens. Beautiful, really beautiful. And it looks like they have toad tokens instead of the miniatures that the 4th edition has, but the artwork is really nice. And so are these tokens. Really beautiful. Okay. And one thing I'm interested in, of course, is the map. So we are going to lay this out. In fact, we're going to lay both of them out. And one thing that is really nice about this edition, I can see already, obviously it has a nice insert, which keeps all the miniatures, the cards, as well as the different playing pieces. And of course, Fantasy Flight, they're famous for basically empty boxes, right? Just everything bagged up, thrown in there. So let's go ahead and let's get both maps on the table. All right, this is my first time seeing the map, and it is really beautiful. And it is smaller than the 4th edition, as you could see here. And the 3rd edition map is even smaller than this 5th edition. So if table space is an issue, especially if you have expansions or want to use expansions, the smaller map is obviously the way to go. Of course, it was really touted, the artwork for the 5th edition, stunning new artwork. And I have to admit, I do like this artwork better. It is really gorgeous. One thing I don't care for is the perspective. So here you can see along the bottom of the map of the 4th edition, it's oriented where it's facing you, the player that's closest to that table edge. But here, it's all reversed. So it looks like the perspective here, it's all going towards the center of the map as opposed to being facing the outside where the players are. I'm not sure how I feel about that, to be honest. But I do like the artwork better. I mean, look at that, the city. And I just love how the font is larger, it's easier to see, especially, large games like Talisman, especially when you have the expansions out. This writing was very small and it was hard to see, but here it really spells it out. So you got, Dr. Alchemist, and around the corner you've got the Enchantress. Here it's all along a single edge, this or this or this, which I think is fantastic. The art is more evocative for sure. And this has caverns over here. That's interesting. And got the tavern. So I just like it. I like this perspective where it's facing towards the player, not away from the player. Maybe that's just going to take some getting used to. We'll see, but I just feel like everything in front of me is upside down. And I'm really not a big fan of that. So I'm just wondering what the decision-making process was for that, what the thinking was. I don't know, but overall, the map is more colorful, has more detail, and the corner spaces especially, such, here's the chapel compared to the chapel in the 4th edition, is nicer. It's definitely nicer. And I like how the crown of command here, you got you're fighting an elder dragon with a strength 10, craft 10, challenger's choice, so you're not just throwing spells that could be countered by certain characters and their abilities, with the fate tokens and constantly making you reroll. That could just take forever as far as the end game for the 4th edition. So, all right, so I'm really grooving on that 5th edition map. I just am really unsure about this upside down or center directed perspective here. I don't know, it's weird. All right, let's look at something else. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the different characters, starting with the Toad here. And you'll see that the artwork is a lot nicer on the 5th edition. I like how the artwork bleeds off the cards. The font is just clear, easier to read. You also notice there is a place on the top left-hand corner to put the alignment of each character. You put tokens on there where they could change. And just overall, much better artwork and design. And also, I noticed that there's 2 fewer characters in the 5th edition than the 4th. There's the 4th ones. We have a sampling of cards. So I got strangers, followers, objects, enemies, places, and events. So just sampling. We're not going to go over every single card, or else this would be a very long video. But I do want to compare the artwork. And first, the back is absolutely stunning, isn't it? Just looks like something from an illuminated book or something. Well, the old ones, it also look very nice, but really, that's quite stunning. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is that these cards are a lot larger than the smaller ones. But as much as I like that, I'm wondering how that's going to play out on the map. So, for example, this Phantom here, because you have to put it this way. Here it overlaps, and the space is here. But I guess you could do it this way. I don't know. We'll see. And compared to the smaller cards, which had a lot of room to fit on the space. But let's just take a look at the artwork. Okay, first of all, we're looking at the Strangers, and this is the 4th edition here. Looks very nice, kind of creepy. This looks great too. So if you notice, just the new artwork just got more vibrant colors. And then we've got the witch. So she looks like a classic old witch. And she's just downright scary looking, huh? With the blood and everything. But looks amazing. Oop. And the fairy almost got away from me. So, got the fairy in the woods there. Then you got a very colorful one here. Got a healer. And the healer. And one thing I love about the 4th edition art, a lot of the characters are in the context of a story. So they have, there's backgrounds. And I'll point that out on some other cards as well. But you can see this person, see the stairs coming down, and he is, working on someone who is sick. And they're doing the same thing here, but it's a lot more close-up view. It's more focused on the healer's actual face, who just happens to be wearing a surgical mask, which is very interesting considering, heck, that was a very recent development as far as technological advances when we understood, germs, bacteria, things like that. But anyway, alrighty. And then we've got mages. Get the mage. Again, I like the artwork on both. I really do. I do love the vibrant colors, on the new one. But the old one just also looks great. And the last one we have is the sorcerer. And I really like the artwork on the new one. Another thing I like is I do like the detail on these cards and the way it's designed. It makes it look more like I said, the illuminated type books. All right, so let's look at the next group. The next group are followers. So we've got the mercenary, and I like the new mercenary better. And we've got the gnome. I like both gnomes. So this one looks like working in a forge. This one's got an axe in the woods. And then we've got the prince. So the prince and the princess, they on the new ones, have more of a Mediterranean feel to it, as opposed to Northern Europe. The artwork on both is nice. And we've got the princess. And we've got the maiden. I love the artwork on both. And we've got the guide. I think I like the artwork on the new guide better. He's got maps, and this guy's just saying, hey, this way. But both are good. And then the last follower we're going to look at is the hag. And here you can see, here it says cursed by a hag, right? The follower. And here it's just given in the instructions. I think I like the old one better, even though she made my daughter cry when she was little. She thought she was winning until she got the hag. All right, let's move on to the next pile. Now we've got objects, both regular and magic objects. We've got the ring. And by and large, I do like the new artwork, like I said, because it's larger and it's more vibrant. But both are very nice. And we've got potions of strength. And we've got our trusty old sword. I like that new artwork. And we can't do this without looking at a talisman, right? Again, both look very nice. And finally, for objects that we're going to look at, of course, is the bag of gold. Let's grab the events. So we've got the storm. And one thing I noticed is that some of the writing differs on some of the same cards, which makes it simpler, actually, so the game plays a little faster. And I have to look and so I could point that out. Okay. Very nice. And then we've got the siren. That looks more like a sea dryad or something, huh? I mean, I don't know what's her hair is. It looks like tree branches. I would not be seduced by this siren. but I do like the artwork. And then we've got Evil Darkness, and I love, on a lot of the old card artwork on the 4th edition. I mean, like, it tells more of a story. So you can see this storm in the shape of something coming over. There's a hilltop town that's going to be affected. And here you do see a town that's a bit of a swirl. It's kind of dark, but it is evil. And we've got our places. So we've got the cave. I definitely like the artwork on the new cave better than the old one. And we've got the market. I also like the new one. As good as the 4th edition artwork is, I like the new one better. And the Fountain of Wisdom. I like both. This tells more of a story. This has just got some water and some little pools there. Speaking of pools, we've got the Pool of Life. I like the new artwork. And we've got, finally, Magic Stream. Both are nice. And finally, let's look at the enemies. Save the best for last, right? All right, so we have the Shadow. And I like, the 4th edition coming out of the dark corner of a room. Looks really creepy. A little bit of moonlight up against the wall here from the window. But that one is really cool looking. So I love the artwork on both. And then we've got a giant. So here you got the giant in the countryside roaming around, has a tree in his hand. Here he's just got a big log. You can see that he's outside somewhere, but then there's a flag, so I assume he's going towards, a civilized area. And I've always loved this ogre card. I mean, this tells a story, right? So this mom is freaking out, obviously, because this ogre is about to steal a baby. Most likely for a snack. As compared to, I don't know, this looks like just a generic or general ogre that you see in video games and role-playing games, things like that. But I really like the little stories that the 4th edition cards, on a lot of the cards, do. And I like the ghost best on the old 4th edition. I don't even know what this is supposed to be. Here, on the 4th edition, you could see that outline of the person, translucent, in the graveyard. I don't know. And then we've got, how do you pronounce that? Lemure, enemy spirit. So here, chasing villagers, right? And I'm not sure what this is supposed to be here. But there you go. And I think I like the 4th edition Goblin better on this one. Outside, mountainous area in the background, holding a sword, looking rather threatening, as if you just happened to come across him on a pathway. And same goes for the dragon. I mean, this is 5th edition. Dragon looks great. 4th edition, well, the dragon is creating havoc in the countryside. People are running for their lives. And so you need a hero like yourself to go in and destroy the dragon. All right, so that's a sampling of the card, so you get an idea of the artwork. 4th and 5th edition art is great on both. and some I like better than others on both editions. When I was sorting out the cards by type, I did notice that there have been changes made on a number of these cards. For example, Evil Darkness. So 4th edition reads, an evil dark, let's see, is that focused? There we go. An evil darkness from the nether worlds sweeps the land. All characters except those of evil alignment must miss one turn. The darkness then vanishes to the discard pile. The new card, however, reads, a darkness from the netherworlds sweeps the land. Each evil character gains 1 fate token. Then discard this card. So I think that was done just, to make the game faster. Just, little tweaks here and there just to keep the game moving. So that way one person, doesn't get skipped and has all that extra downtime waiting for them to take another turn. So I think, that's a really good move. All right, now we have the bits. And with the 4th edition, for alignments, you got cards, as you can see here. But in the 5th edition, you've got these tokens. So you've got good or evil with neutral on each side. So what's nice about that is you could put their alignments right on the character card. So when it changes, you could flip it to whatever the current alignment is, because in Talisman, your alignment will change. So I think that is a really nice touch. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but on the cards, I like the rounded corners on these character cards and the fact that the artwork bleeds compared to the sharp corners. All right, so back to the other bits here. The cones have more of a matte feel on the 4th edition. They feel a little smoother on the 5th, not a big deal. Just is what it is. And fate, I like the new fate because it's just a different shape than the round. So you got the light and dark fate, where it's just a round token before. So it's nice. And then, of course, we've got the toad as an art token here, whereas in the 4th edition, it's a miniature. And the dice, they look, the same color and everything, but I did notice that the Talisman is larger in the 5th edition compared to the 4th edition. Not a big deal, doesn't matter, but it is what it is. I almost forgot about the gold here. I do like the 4th edition better just because it's crisper than the 5th edition, which really, it's very difficult to make out the details. As you can see here. Now for the rest of the cards, you can see these are the general market items for 4th edition. They've got a talisman on the back. So you got your raft, your shield, axe, things like that. We already looked at a lot of these objects already. Artwork is good, pretty basic. I think it's the card backs are just incredible in the 5th edition. And I do like, in general, the item card artwork. Of course, just the details of the cards themselves, the layout. Definitely, in my opinion, superior to 4th edition. And then, of course, the spells right here. I mean, look at that. Just really something else, huh? Beautiful. You could tell that this is a spell deck and this is a market deck. And you can do that with the spells here, clearly. But the artwork, and the spells in the 4th edition are pretty basic. 5th edition, they look really good. Again, there's just a lot more color and vibrancy. Destroy magic, healing spells, immobility, invisibility, nullify, preservation, sonic might, random, teleport, temporal warp. And I might have some other expansions in here, but hex, nullify, artwork is good. Visibility, sonic blast, preservation, immobility. But you can get to see the difference there. I do like the larger cards. I am just concerned about, just having a lot of them on the map and creating a lot of clutter. Let's now compare miniatures. We've got the smaller ones on the left are from the 4th edition, while the larger ones are the 5th edition. And as you can see, the 5th edition have some more details. Overall, they're nicer. They're a little less spindly, I guess, or more heroic in scale. But I don't necessarily like the sculpts overall better than the old ones. Like, for example, the thief here, this looks just like the artwork on the card. This little guy running away here compared to him. But again, overall, the 5th edition miniatures are much nicer. And then we're going to take a look at some miniatures I use for other games just to see how they compare to, for example, Reaper Bones, or their metallic ones, and miniatures from North Star. So again, the miniatures are fantastic, really beautiful here, and generally overall better than their 4th edition counterparts. Now let's compare the miniatures to some other manufacturers. So Frostgrave line from North Star. Obviously, the unpainted ones here are from 5th edition. A metal North Star Ranger for Rangers of Shadow Deep. The fighter in 5th edition, Talisman, is huge, especially compared to this metallic Reaper Knight. Generally, Reaper miniatures are larger than North Stars. And then you've got Elf Ranger here compared to the other Elf. So this is a Reaper Bones, so this is the plastic. And they're pretty compatible, those two. But you can see, by and large, 5th edition, the scale is quite a bit larger. This is hassle-free miniatures. Generally, they're smaller. They're not heroic scale. And then here is a sneak peek for an upcoming video I'm doing. And this is a metal Reaper miniature. And so I just want to give you an idea in case you're planning on incorporating these or thinking of incorporating these into other games. Finally, let's take a look at the rule books, right? That's what's important, is the rules. And so the 4th edition clocks in at 24 pages. And in the back, it's got that famous Talisman encounter sequence, which we've seen since like 1st, 2nd edition. And again, 24 pages, cover to cover. And then this one clocks in at, I think, 32 pages cover to cover. Also has an encounter sequence. So this is a long-standing tradition amongst all editions of Talisman. Now, one thing I did notice, just beautiful color throughout, as you can see here. Nice table of contents, beautifully illustrated, so it's easy to make out what all the different components are and how many. And this, I think, is what's important for us Talisman players right here. What is new about this edition? So, how to win. The first player to obtain Talisman reaches the crown of command in the center of the board and defeat the dragon wins the game. So that's going to speed up the game quite a bit as it is. And I think that is more closely aligned with the 3rd edition, which greatly speeds up the game compared to the 2nd or the 4th edition. Choose your character. Character cards are no longer randomly dealt to players. Instead, choose one player to pick their character first. They choose the first character from the deck of character cards, and moving to the right, the rest of the players choose their characters. The last player to choose a character takes the first turn. Play then moves to the left. Okay, that's kind of cool. Change your character's alignment. Players may choose an alignment of good, neutral, or evil for their character at the start of the game. Well, that's interesting too. So if you don't like what's on the card, you want to be a good ghoul, I guess you could do that. Carrying limit and talismans. Talismans do not count toward the carrying limit of 4 objects and cannot be intentionally dropped on the space you occupy. Each character can hold up to 1 talisman. Character death. If you lose all of your lives and are defeated, place your figure on the village space in the outer region. You'll keep all objects, magic objects, followers, spells, trophies, fate tokens, and gold, as well as any earned strength and craft counters. That's very nice. At the start of your next turn, you must spend your gold to purchase as many lives as you can afford, up to the life value of a cost of 1 life per gold. If you have no gold, you gain 1 life, then your turn ends. So that is very nice. I think that makes the game more friendly, more family friendly, I should say. Next, use fate tokens to move. If you don't like your movement roll, you may pay 1 fate token instead of the original die number. You may instead move your character up to 6 spaces to land on a space unoccupied by another character. Also, I think that will speed up the game if you're trying to get to that one item, that one card, that one event place. That's nice. It's a little more deterministic as far as movement, and I think that'll make some people happy. And then toad transformations. If you're turned into a toad, your objects and gold transform with you. You retain all cards and strength and craft counters. But while in toad form, you cannot benefit from, lose, or gain objects or gold. You cannot gain new followers. At the end of your next turn, revert to your original form. So that's a change as well, because before you lost everything, it just got dropped to the space. You could only move 1 space, and you were a toad for 3 turns. So someone could come up behind you and steal all your items. So that also makes the game a little less mean and more family friendly as well. I think these are all good changes, and I look forward to playing this with my family, because I haven't played this game with them since the 4th edition first came out, such as the picture right here. So that'll be a future video. All right, guys.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.